DocTalk is brought to you by Merck Animal Health, the science of healthier animals.
Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson. We have a great show. A friend and colleague, Dr. Dave Rethorst, is going to be on here. We're going to talk about product administration, beef quality assurance, and so much more. He's a wealth of information, so stay tuned.
As dependable as the sunrise, in dairy parlors, open pastures, on ranches and feed yards across America. A place where reputation is more than a name, where the science of healthier animals is a way of life. It's the responsibility that drives who we are and what we do. Every decision, every day. It's your livelihood and our responsibility.
Time is money on the farm, and your cows are less productive when they're stressed. The Alertus on-farm test from IDEXX allows you to quickly test cowside and identify open or pregnant cows within minutes on your schedule in the parlor, barn, or chute. It's more efficient for your farm, very simple to use, and puts you in control. With minimal training and reliable, fast results, sample-based pregnancy testing is better for beef and dairy producers. Learn more at idexx.com/DocTalk.
Close.
Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson here with one of our familiar faces, somebody that has been a staple to the show over the years, Dr. David Rethorst. And Dr. Dave is one of the most passionate professional veterinarians. He's humble, hardworking, years practice in South Central Nebraska, and now Beef Health Solutions out of Wamego, Kansas is where Dr. Dave is hanging his hat and setting up practice and just having a ball, aren't you?
Yes, sir. Mentoring young veterinarians, working with producers, caring, serving, leading, empowering.
That's what Dr. Dave does. That's why we love him. And so today we're going to talk about something else that you have a lot of passion for, that you have done so much work with, but the beef quality assurance and just how to properly administer products to our animals. Talk a little bit about your background with BQA.
I've been involved with BQA going back to the years I was in practice in South Central Nebraska, but ever since D. Griffin carried the BQA tablets down off of the mountain in the early 80s when he was with Hitch and got the whole BQA thing started, I've always been about a quality product, no residues, no trim, healthy product, profitable for the producers. It's where it's at, sustainable.
But you've worked national, regional, national levels with beef quality assurance.
Yes.
And ranches to feedlots to stocker operators. There isn't anybody in our industry that's not involved, right?
Right. Whole industry, conception to consumption.
Yep. And it's one of those things now, it's required.
Right. So many places are requiring it. Just last week I had a feed yard contact me that they needed a Tyson audit done, and they wanted to get up to speed before the Tyson people came in to do their audit. So they've got to do it to sell the cattle to Tyson.
Yep. So all major packers now are not only requiring BQA education at the feedlot level to sell, but if you're going to haul cattle in, you've got to go through the transportation beef quality assurance as well,
right,
and carry the card. So BQA is part of our DNA. It's what we do in the beef industry, and as veterinarians, it kind of led into making sure that people are not misplacing injections and different things to that nature. That was one of our biggies.
That was one of the biggies, back in the late 80s, early 90s. I forget the numbers right off the top of my head, but like 22% of the top butts in the country had abscesses in them,
Yeah.
or injection site scars, and we've got that taken care of. We moved those injection sites to the neck, and we talk about cleanliness and cleaned up the problem.
Yeah, and I can remember my granddad being raised throughout all this time. He would take a 10 gauge, look like 10 gauge needle, 14 gauge, and harpoon the cows in the top butt as they came through the syringe. And it wasn't just with a 2cc, it was full dose of Combiotic.
I can remember giving vitamin A in the top butt in feeder cattle, 5 cc's, 14 gauge, 1.5 needle.
Yep. We don't do that anymore. How much money we lost, how much protein and natural resources went out the window. Great moving to the neck. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to pick up where we left off on injection sites, needles, and more with Dr. Dave Rethorst.
Producers know stress costs money. It puts their cattle at greater risk of illness and can be a substantial drain on animal performance. That's why ZenPro developed Pro.
Time is money on the farm, and your cows are less productive when they're stressed. The Alertus on-farm test from IDEX allows you to quickly test cowside and identify open or pregnant cows within minutes on your schedule in the parlor, barn, or chute. It's more efficient for your farm, very simple to use, and puts you in control. With minimal training and reliable, fast results, sample-based pregnancy testing is better for beef and dairy producers. Learn more at idex.com/DocTalk.
If you're looking for advanced and innovative livestock handling products and facilities, Daniels Manufacturing Company is who you want to choose. They are a family-owned business that puts the needs of their customers first and have so since they opened in 1958. With low-stress cattle handling being of the utmost importance, they are focused on quality, not quantity. The company prides themselves on prioritizing the animal's well-being by staying on the cutting edge of design and only using the best materials and manufacturing operations. For more information or to purchase your own, contact Daniels Manufacturing Company today.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thomson here with Dr. Dave Rethorst. We're both members of Production Animal Consultation. Dr. Dave has Beef Health Solutions as his practice out of Wamego, Kansas. But Dr. Dave is we have worked together for years. We've been friends for decades. We've worked together for over a decade on different things. And it's just always an honor to get to see you.
Well, thank you, and it's great to be here and catch up with you again, Dan.
So when you talk about, let's just start with, the injection site triangle.
Okay.
So describe that. Where do we want to put these injections?
Okay, that triangle, the top of that triangle is about 2 inches below the top of the neck, runs from basically just behind the head back to the shoulder blade, about a 2-inch. That's the top of it. Then we go down the front of the shoulder blade, down to the point of the shoulder, and then back up to that top line.
Gotcha. So easy to see, easy to demarcate, and theoretically, if I stick a needle from one side of that to the other, I should hit hide, muscle, hide.
Right, because the bottom side of that is basically where the vertebrae and the neck are, so they're out of that region and up in the, towards the top of that triangle.
Yeah.
Hide, muscle, hide.
My hide, muscle, hide. And it looked like some of my sub-Q injections on poodles, but there wasn't even muscle. It's just hide, and
Just
squirt it
hide
on the owner.
Yes. We've all done that.
Now, when you're going to give an injection, how do you, talk to me a little bit about needles and needle selection.
Okay. My primary needle for sub-Q injection, like on vaccine or antibiotic, is a 16 gauge 3/4 inch needle.
Okay.
Sometimes on calves I'll use a 16 by 5/8, but 3/4 is basically my go-to. And to get that where we want it, like if my right hand is the syringe with a needle on it, we want to go in pretty flat and go in until the needle stops it, and then I always relax my hand a little bit and let that needle come back. Because if I don't let that needle come back a little, I'll be putting that injection, I'll be getting down into the muscle. But by letting it drop back, that needle pops up and I can give a nice clean sub-Q injection without tenting.
Yep, and we don't want to tent.
No, not with some of the products we're using. I think about Micatil, or in the case of veterinarians, Bangs vaccine.
Yep.
We don't want our hands in there. And, there's a work comp issue in the feed yard if, somebody's sticking their hand in the chute 1,200 times a day processing cattle.
Yep. So sub-Q, 16 gauge, 3/4 inch, going in flat, getting it between the skin and the muscle.
Right.
What about for an intramuscular?
Depends on a little bit on the product. Usually an inch or an inch and a half. There's some vaccines, reproductive vaccines in our cows, like some of the virals are supposed to be intramuscular, and I like to use a 16 gauge inch and a half on those because I want them deep enough in the muscle that the spleen's getting a good look at them and not the regional lymph nodes.
Gotcha. Well, folks, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk more with Dr. Rethorst about injections, product administration. We'll get into some of the pour-ons and different things like that, but it's always great to have such a wealth of information right here. Dr. Dave and I will be back right after these messages. Come be a part of the first ever caregiver camp, September 16th and 17th at Knopfsinger Ranch in Benkelman, Nebraska. The camp is an opportunity for new and veteran employees to receive one-on-one instruction in a relaxed environment from Dr. Tom Knopfsinger, Dr. Kip Luga-Savage, and Ted Howard on cattle handling, horsemanship, animal health, disease detection, and team interaction. At Caregiver Camp, people learn how to grow trust and open lines of contact between animals and humans. These principles will allow you to build relationships with your own livestock and team. For more details and to register, visit packdvm.com/caregivercamp.
Time is money on the farm, and your cows are less productive when they're stressed. The Alertus on-farm test from IDEX allows you to quickly test cowside and identify open or pregnant cows within minutes on your schedule in the parlor, barn, or chute. It's more efficient for your farm, very simple to use, and puts you in control. With minimal training and reliable, fast results, sample-based pregnancy testing is better for beef and dairy producers. Learn more at idex.com/DocTalk.
If you're looking for advanced and innovative livestock handling products and facilities, Daniels Manufacturing Company is who you want to choose. They are a family-owned business that puts the needs of their customers first, and have so since they opened in 1958. With low-stress cattle handling being of the utmost importance, they are focused on quality, not quantity. The company prides themselves on prioritizing the animal's well-being by staying on the cutting edge of design and only using the best materials and manufacturing operations. For more information or to purchase your own, contact Daniels Manufacturing Company today. ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need, from prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Welcome back to Doc Talk. Dr. Dan Thomson here with my friend and my colleague, Dr. David Rethorst. And Dr. Dave owns and operates Beef Health Solutions out of Wamego, Kansas, motivating, mentoring young veterinarians, consulting cow-calf and feedlot operations, still does a lot of shoot work and just is a passion for the beef industry and passion for veterinary medicine. And it's one of those people, when you get around him, it's just infectious. You want to do better, you want to do more, and so having him here is great. So, Dr. Dave, when we talk about injections, where do we place them? I mean, what I mean is we know in the triangle, and now we know sub-Q or IM, but now how do you go like vaccine versus, antibiotics and different things to that?
I typically, I want the viral vaccine on, first of all, I don't like to give more than 2 injections per side, and I want those injections at least a hand's width apart.
Yep.
So we don't get any interference between the 2 products. I like to put the viral on one side, and actually I use the viral and like an injectable wormer on the same side. I don't like to put the antibiotic and the blackleg vaccine on the same side as I'm putting the viral on. I don't want any more inflammation on that side than the viral's on than I absolutely have there. So we go viral wormer on one side, and if we're given a metaphylactic antibiotic, give that, and the Clostridial on the other side.
Perfect. So now let's roll into, if we're treating an animal with an antibiotic that is more than one, like a 30 cc dose.
Right.
We know no more than 10 cc's per site. So how do you do that? Same way?
I split that, I'll do 2 10 cc sites, or, actually that 10 cc is an intermuscular deal, so I'll push it on a sub-Q. I might go 15,
yep.
Where I'm going sub-Q, but I want to split it up into a couple different sites.
And part of that, as these products were approved, in that antibiotic bubble we make, that's how that drug distributes on a time basis.
Right.
And so your withdrawals and things to that nature are based on BQA standards, and that's another reason why we...
Yeah, if you're putting 40, 50 cc's of an antibiotic in one spot, you're creating quite a lesion. Withdrawal's going to be even longer.
And they're going to leak. So, space hand widths apart, no more than 10 cc's per site, viral vaccine with the dewormer on one side, blackleg 7-way, and with your antibiotic on the other.
Yep.
And folks, it's just some good shoot side knowledge, things to that nature. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to get into talking about how some of the pour-ons and different drenches and different things, sanitation, things to that nature. Before we go, we got 30 seconds. How often do you change your needles?
I shoot for every 15 to 20 head.
Cool. What I do is, if we're implanting, when I change implant cartridge, I change my needle.
All right. Sometimes I'll go 25 on the vaccines, because that's, 25 doses in a 50 cc syringe. But the big thing is change that needle before you refill that syringe. Go into that bottle with a sterile needle.
Yep. And use tap water with your sponge for your modified live needles. Use Nolvasan, some disinfectant for your killed products and your antibiotic and your dewormer, because if you use the Nolvasan on your modified live, you wind up with a modified dead vaccine.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
And it does no good.
Does no good. We're going to take a break, and we come back more with Dr. Dave.
Time is money on the farm, and your cows are less productive when they're stressed. The Alertus on-farm test from IDEX allows you to quickly test cowside and identify open or pregnant cows within minutes on your schedule in the parlor, barn, or chute. It's more efficient for your farm, very simple to use, and puts you in control. With minimal training and reliable, fast results, sample-based pregnancy testing is better for beef and dairy producers. Learn more at idex.com/DocTalk.
If you're looking for advanced and innovative livestock handling products and facilities, Daniels Manufacturing Company is who you want to choose. They are a family-owned business that puts the needs of their customers first, and have so since they opened in 1958. With low-stress cattle handling being of the utmost importance, they are focused on quality, not quantity. The company prides themselves on prioritizing the animal's well-being by staying on the cutting edge of design and only using the best materials and manufacturing operations. For more information or to purchase your own, contact Daniels Manufacturing Company today. Producers know stress costs money. It puts their cattle at greater risk of illness and can be a substantial drain on animal performance. That's why ZenPro developed ProFusion.com as your one-stop shop for your every animal need. From prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thomson here with Dr. Dave Rethorst. And Dr. Dave is a veterinary practitioner out of Wamego, Kansas. He worked with me at Kansas State University on the faculty, and he's been a leader in the Academy of Veterinary Consultants, a leader in the American Association of Bovine Practitioners, and within our cattlemen's organizations. And so when you see Dr. Dave, you know, it's electric about moving forward and being better in our industry and our profession. And so let's talk about, and it's the simple things, right? I mean, it's doing ordinary things extraordinarily well. Some people think it's boring. That's what gets us fired up.
Right. Yeah. That's what we're passionate about, and it's not rocket science.
No, otherwise I wouldn't be qualified. So
neither one of us would.
So when we're talking about product administration, one of them that always gets me is our porons for lice or protection in the winter. Talk a little bit about poron administration.
Well, I've been guilty at times, but you know, we'll get in a hurry and we'll just take that poron gun and we'll just squirt in one spot, you know, so it runs down the side and some of it runs off. You know, when we're using these porons, we need to string them out from the withers back towards the hip bones and lots of absorptive surface so we don't lose product.
Yep. And some of them will even say if you don't and you get a lice problem, they're not going to refund you.
They're not going to warranty it.
Yeah, they're not going to warranty it. So making sure you get that from the withers to the tailhead is important.
And be cognizant of weather. You know, most of those porons have a rain-fast guarantee if they've been on 30 minutes before it starts raining. But, you know, try to avoid the wet hide. You know, try to get an hour or two, let it soak in. And while we're on porons, there's a neat poron on the market today in the Banamine poron. You know, we can eliminate those. You know, Banamine injectable is supposed to be given IV. A lot of times it isn't, and we end up with these nasty sub-Q or intramuscular injection site lesions that are quite painful. And with the Banamine porons, we can eliminate that injection site. Really a cool product.
It is. Yep. And I think we're going to see more and more transdermal and oral, intranasal. Talk a little bit about intranasal. Not so much just talk about the administration.
Okay, Dan knows me too well. I have really got hooked on intranasal vaccines, but they're really a cool product. We can involve the mucosal immune system that way, and we get a different immune response than if we're doing a sub-Q or an intramuscular vaccine. Really cool.
Cool. Thanks for being on the show.
Appreciate it, my friend.
It's always good to have Dr. Dave Rethorst here with us. And remember, if you want to find out what we do on DocTalk, you can find us on the web at www.doctalktv.com. Always work with your local veterinarian. I'm Dr. Dan Thomson with Dr. Dave Rethorst, and we'll see you down the road.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Profusion Drench for beef cattle, a no prescription, no needle supplement. To learn more, go to zenpro.com. DocTalk was brought to you by Merck Animal Health, the science of healthier animals.
Time is money on the farm, and your cows are less productive when they're stressed. The Alertus on-farm test from IDEXX allows you to quickly test cowside and identify open or pregnant cows within minutes on your schedule in the parlor, barn, or chute. It's more efficient for your farm, very simple to use, and puts you in control. With minimal training and reliable, fast results, sample-based pregnancy testing is better for beef and dairy producers. Learn more at idexcom/DocTalk.